Hello, my name's Erin and I am from Our Ukulele and I'm here to get you started on your ukulele journey today. So firstly we're going to start off with some super basic stuff just so you can get your ukulele in tune, you can get some chords going and you know how to hold it properly. So firstly we're going to talk about the parts of the ukulele. So as we all know, this is the body, these are our sound holes, this is called the nut. These are our machine heads, which are used to tune our strings. These are our beautiful strings here. I tend to use Aquila strings. I find they have a really great sound. And we have our bridge and saddle on the bottom here. Your ukulele may look a little bit different to mine, which is a resonator ukulele, which means your ukulele may have a hole here instead of up here. So, how do we hold our ukulele? Well, the best thing to do is to find a ukulele that you find really comfortable holding that suits you. I tend to say that our ukuleles are a little bit like our fingerprints. They each have a different personality to suit our personalities. So the one I'm holding, this one is called a tenor ukulele. I like to use tenor ukuleles for their sound and the fact that it's got a really big body that I can hold close to my body. So the other sizes we have are soprano, concert, tenor, and baritone. The baritone ukulele is actually tuned to the top 4 strings of the guitar, so it's probably best that you start on either a concert, a tenor, or a soprano to begin with. So you want to have your ukulele in a nice comfortable position underneath your arm, where you can hold it close to your body if you're sitting down. If you do find that you're slipping a lot, I recommend getting a strap, which you can put on the bottom of the ukulele here. Most music stores will help you get a strap pin put in place for that. So, when we're holding our chords, we need to make sure that our thumb is at the back of the ukulele, so we have lots of room to move our hands over the top strings. We want to make sure that we have our knuckles nice and high, like this, so that we can get it around there and we're not touching any of the other strings. So if I'm to play a basic C chord, that's very easy, but if I'm going to use other strings, I need to make sure my fingers are nice and high over the fret. So for example, if I'm doing a G chord, we make sure it's nice and clear, that way with the tippy top of our fingers on the strings and our knuckles nice and high over those strings. So if I wasn't doing that, it would sound a bit funny, it would sound a bit like this. Or if I was doing an F chord and I didn't have my hand up nice and high, it wouldn't sound proper. That's much better, isn't it? Great. So you're holding a ukulele, but have we tuned it? To tune our ukulele, the name of the strings are G, C, E, and A. I have a little rhyme I like to say to remember this, which is great coffee every afternoon. G, C, E, A. If you're using your ukulele at home and you don't have a ukulele tuner or a piano, you can tune the instrument to itself. The way we do that, we count to the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We put our second finger on the E string and we play the top E and A strings together. So that should sound the same. To tune our G and C strings, we go down 1, 2 to the 7th fret and we put our second finger on the C string. We play our G and C together. So if you're doing this at home and you'd like to tune your ukulele with me now, I want you to put your first or second finger on the E string and play those top 2 strings together. And now we're going to try the G and C string together. So if yours does not sound like mine, you might need to tweak it up here. We're either going to go sharp or flat. So we turn it away from us to become sharper, and we turn it towards us to become flat. So now we've got our ukulele in tune, we're going to start with some really basic chords to get you playing some simple songs. Now we're not going to talk about strumming in this video, we do talk about that in my next module, which is strumming. Today we're just focusing on chords. So we're going to start with our C chord. that is our third finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. So we count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That is our third finger. Our first finger, our second finger, and our third finger. We don't count our thumb when we're counting. Okay, so we're going to put our third finger on the A string. That is our C chord. Let's make sure we got that one more time. So our third finger on the A string, the 3rd fret, and that's our C chord. So you can use stickers to help you. I find when I'm teaching younger children, I do put coloured stickers. I tend to put a red sticker right here. That's representing our C chord. So the next one we're going to do is the F chord. We've got our first finger and our second finger. We're going to put our first finger on the E string, which is this string, on the 1st fret. Like that. So that note we're actually playing is called F. And the second finger is going to go on the G string up here to create our F chord. So that's our F chord, and we're going to go back to our C chord. So let's try that together. We're going to do our C chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to go to our F chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to our C. Last one we're going to do for our chord progression practice is G. So we need our first, second and third finger for our G. We're going to put our first finger on the 2nd fret on the C string, our second finger on the A string on the 2nd fret, and our third finger is going to go on the 3rd fret on the E string, like that. So this again is written in your book. Have a look if you're not quite sure. That's what our G chord sounds like. So let's try that together now. Our G chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now some people I find are either going to love G chord or they're going to love G7. So G7 is basically flipping that pattern around the other way to make this shape. So instead of having our first, second and third fingers there, we're going to swap it to have our first finger on the E string, 1st fret, our second finger on the C string, 2nd fret, and our third finger on the A string. And that's what G7 sounds like. So you can try either C, F and G7 or C, F and G. C, F and G, or C, F and G7. If you want a sneaky little trick, you can leave your first finger on the E string when changing from G7 to F. So we're going from F, leaving it down, going to G7. And again, F, only placing our second and third for our G7 chord. So how are you feeling so far? It is so easy to get this down packed after we do it a couple times. Once you got that, I would love to show you how we strum, which will be in our second module. But to finish off today, I'm going to talk you through some more chords if you find you're totally smashing this already. So the chords that we're going to talk about, we've got C. If we want to put our first finger down 2 frets, we have C7. So that's a really easy one to get started with, C and C7. If you want to be really tricky, you can play C6, which is totally open strings. So we have C6, C7, and C. So this is the top line of your book that you would have downloaded. So next we're going to go to A minor. We have our second finger on the G string on the 2nd fret. This is A minor. A sneaky one in our chord progressions is going from A minor to F. We only need to put our first finger down to make it an F again. So we can go F to A to try is D7. We already have our second finger there, but we're going to swap that to our first finger. And then we're going to put our second finger on the E string, which becomes D7. Some people struggle with this one. If you do find that you are really struggling getting your fingers down there on the smaller size of the fret, you can play D7 as a bar chord. So you're going to put your first finger across the strings like that, and your second finger for D7. So this is our open string D7, and this is our bar chord D7. So totally up to you, whichever you feel more comfortable with. So we've done D7, we've done A minor. We're going to go to A7 now. We have our first finger on the C string. This is A7. First fret, C string. Remember? That's A7. So what I want you to do, I want you to try these chords and see if you can make up your own chord progression. See what sort of sounds you can get and what sort of tricks you can do moving your fingers from one chord to the other. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about strumming. Enjoy! Have a great practice!